Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Circle of the World podcast, where we discuss Joe Abercrombie's First Law series. I am one of your hosts, Lord Chamberlain Jeffrey, and here are my co-hosts,
Arch-Lector George.
And Harrison, the Adeptus Historical.
We continue our coverage of Red Country, Joe's third standalone, and the next First Law entry. And this week, we read through Words and Graces, That's Simple, and Yesterday's News. So, let's get started. As usual, we have to thank you, the people, the folks, the supporters, for your continued devotion. You know it. We love to see it. Boys, shout them out.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you in the community.
That's right.
100 of you. Almost enough to start a cult. Almost.
Oh, hey, listen.
It's never, people
People started
We'll become the new dragon people.
the new dragon people.
Mm-hmm.
First, we got to figure out how to make stuff.
But we gotta not kidnap kids. That will put us on some list.
Yeah, that's
Well,
well,
we
you
do
never
have
know.
to
You
figure
know, a
out-
lot of people seem to be getting away with it these days.
Oh, you never know. Jesus Christ.
Oh, on top of that, too, cults
Oh.
have to have a bad reason to exist, right?
We have an awful reason to exist. Us.
That's a good point.
Our podcast.
The cult of humanity should not exist.
The cult.
Yes, thank you very much, listeners.
Yeah.
Don't kidnap children. Do not do it. We will kill you.
And do not kill yourselves either, please. Jesus Christ. we, we love you, and we are grateful for your support. We really are.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms. That means Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. I think we somehow have a TikTok page.
I think at this point we should just say that if you want to join the Discord, that you can email us.
Yeah, that's probably better at this point.
That's the only place we interact with anybody at this point.
Yeah, if you
If you
guys
send us
Maybe
a message on
one day.
Instagram or Twitter, we will respond in probably a month.
no,
That's not a promise.
no, we'll respond if we get DMs. But if you want, that's a way you can, hit us up to get an invite to the Discord. So you can do that, or you can email us, like George said. You can even leave a comment on the episodes, and we'll see that. So if you want a link to the Discord, go on ahead, send us a message. But yeah, especially our YouTube page, don't forget to, subscribe. That would be great. So we'll move on to our first chapter read through, which is Words and Graces. And so we're looking at this from the perspective of Shy's POV for this chapter, and her and Lamb enter what is known as Camling's hostelry. How do we describe this place?
I think it's hostelry, actually. Definitely.
Hostelry. Thank you. Hostelry. Appreciate that, George. So, how do we describe this place?
Oh, it's a shithole. And exactly as Shy says, it's a shithole with the veneer of pretension on it.
Mm.
I think
Yeah.
everybody's been to this kind of place as well, which makes it super relatable.
That's very true.
Oh Lord. And
I do like too how she's like right away, like they're just like, oh, this place is like bad. But then Shy is so like adaptable to like every situation. She's already like, that's Crease for you. like she's a local, like
Mhm. And then E.B. Farnham comes to them. I'm sorry, Camling, and he goes, "Please, please, my friends, do sit." He comes up to them, and he's an oily guy, an oily bastard with a suit, wearing through at the elbows, and a habit of laying soft hands where they weren't wanted. So basically, he sits them down, and he goes to go get them some food. And in the meantime, Shy notices that Corlin and Savian are sitting in the corner over there, and they're chatting it up. And Shy's like, I'm pretty sure I saw her look at me. She didn't so much as nod. And Lamb's like, oh, well, people are people. And she goes, well, I want to be nosy. And so she, ambles on over there. And she overhears Corlin and Savian talking, basically like Savian saying, There's still a few coming in, but less than we hoped. Can't be sure how many more will turn up. Sounds like Molkova was bad, and then he stops short when he sees Shy coming.
It's like blotting to me.
Plotting.
Sounds like some very conscious talk, don't you think?
Conscious
Conscious.
talk?
Yeah.
Conscious?
Yeah, because they're awake and talking.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so, they're very like aware. That's kind of what That's totally what I meant.
I like how they say hi to each other. Shy goes Corlin, Corlin goes Shy, Shy goes Savian, Savian just nods. And then Shy goes, "Oh, I thought you two were gonna be out digging." And Corlin's, "Yeah, we're putting it off for a while. Might leave in a week, might be later." Uh, and it was at this time where Shy realizes that there's a third person sitting in between Corlin and Savian. And Shy goes, "Well, a lot of other folks are coming through with the same idea. If you want to claim anything but except for mud, you better get in those hills, right?" And then this guy goes, "Well, the hills have been there since great Eus drove the devils from the world. I predict that they will persist into next week." uh,
Yeah, it
Zachary
sounds like
is just
Steve
goofy
Urkel.
for you.
Yeah.
Zacharias is goofy for me, yeah. With birds.
I do like this idea though that Zacharias, like Zacharias and Baez and like the Magi are from such a different time, and it was so much more education and knowledge just on a basic level that like the way they speak is like very wizard-like, without even trying, without it sounding like purposefully wizard-like. Like Zacharias, this is just how he talks. Not only is he have all that knowledge, he's been around for a long time and all that, but he also is a little crazy and kind of lost his mind as we've seen in the previous book. He's got bird shit on him and everything. So like he just sells it even more that there's this fucking homeless guy who's like, "Yeah, bro, it's the end of the world." Like,
Yeah.
I find it so funny because this is probably the closest to like the Tolkien wizards. This is just Radagast at this point. Zacharias is just Radagast about.
Yeah, and what's funny too is Shy knows that this guy's an odd one because he has a pair of little birds, tame as puppies and everything, pecking seeds from his palm. And she goes, "Well, and you are?" And he goes, "My name is Zacharias." She goes, "Like the like the magus?" And he's like, "Uh-huh, just like him." And then
That's
literally
that actually echoes that something that Baez says earlier. At some point in I think it might be in the first release, somebody asks, like, "Oh, Baez like the wizard?" And he's just like, "Yes, exactly like."
Oh,
Yes.
right.
In a very, very similar way.
He does it in the blade itself. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're right about that. And what's funny too is that when Shy introduces herself as Shy South, she goes, "That's Lamb over there." But they just like they don't look over there. Lamb doesn't look at them because I bet you if Lamb did, he'd be like, "Oh, this crazy motherfucker! I remember him." So I thought it would have been nice. It would have been interesting to see Lamb look over, but I guess he didn't. And so it's Shy's getting the feeling that Corlin and Savian don't want her here. They want her somewhere else. But that's making Shy's always a contrarian, right? So that's making her want to stay. She goes, "And what's your business, Master Zacharias?" And he's all like, "The turning of ages, the currents of destiny, the rise and fall of nations."
Yes, Zacharias has big empire building energy at this point,
Yeah.
doesn't he?
Yeah,
Yes, he definitely seems a little bit more confident than we did last time, but we've only seen him one at a time, so trying to be too judgmental.
that's true. So Zacharias, Shy inquires about the birds, and he tells her, "Yeah, they bring me news, companionship, songs when I am melancholy, and on occasion nesting materials." You have a nest? No, but they think I should. Okay. He's all up there in his head. Okay.
No wonder, like Zacharias too. Like he obviously, you wonder how much more of a Radagast like caricature he was before. Like how much more he was involved with nature and how easily he could have been lost. Like props to Zacharias here. Like he's been talking to animals in the wild, and he still is somewhat sane. And like it makes me sad to think that maybe he used to be more of like a I like animals, and he just wanted to talk with them, and I don't know.
Yeah,
Kind of sad.
Rooted into the Magi cult.
Yes.
the
He
Magi
maybe just
cult.
wanted to learn more about animals, and then he got tied up with all this crazy shit, and then he didn't want to let his master down, and it all went so wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and Shy, it's funny that Shy, because he asks her what's her business, and Shy goes, I'm looking for my brother and sister that were taken. I've been asking all around this town. Every time I say the name Greg, I can't list. They're like, oh, they get so quiet. And then Zacharias goes, spells of silence are a challenging cloth to weave. So many variables. And then a pigeon comes through the window. It coos, and then Zacharias goes, she says they are in the mountains. And then,
I'm sorry, that's my favorite line in this book. It's,
yeah.
but you should trust pigeons are liars.
Shy's like, what the fuck? And he goes, yeah, they only tell you what you want to hear. So then Camlin gets back and he goes, your breakfast is ready. So Shy comes back, bids them adieu. And she's like trying to like gossip with Lamb, like, what do you think they're about? And he goes, well, I thought they were prospecting. And she goes, you haven't listened at all. They're not really prospecting. He goes, look, if they want our help, they'll ask. Until then, it's not our business. And then Shy goes, okay, but can you imagine either of them asking for help? And Lamb goes, no. So I reckon it'll never be our business, will it? She goes, definitely not. That's why I want to know. You nosy bitch. Get your nose out of there. Jesus.
I love how too like out of the context of her being like the main character in this story, it's so like ridiculous that like they're just having this discussion and she's like, "Hello, what are you doing?" they're like,
I really like that though. I love the fact a lot of the time in especially fantasy, but in a lot of fiction in general, like characters are just sitting back going, "Oh, I just overheard this conversation. I wonder what's going on," and none of them ever just walk up and go, "Oi, what are you talking about?"
Yeah, exactly. I do love that as well. It's awesome.
I love that Shy is the opposite of her name. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. So basically, they start, digging into their breakfast, which is terrible food.
Yes, it is horrible old bacon and whatever. Terrible runny. I've worked in pubs that serve this stuff. I get it.
Well, it's funny. So as they're talking about the terrible food, Shy notices that like everyone in the restaurant kind of trailed off their conversations, got quiet, and that's because 6 men entered, and 5 of them were like big thugs, but the 6th one, short but hugely wide, and with a big belly on him too, fine clothes, a nice like a nice suit, black skin with the fuzz of gray hair, one earlobe stretched around the thick golden ring, almost big enough for Shy to have gotten her fist through. And he's looking real pleased with himself, just smiling as everything's exactly the way he liked it. And Shy immediately does not like him, just could tell. And he's laughing, goes, "Don't worry, everybody, you can all keep eating. If you want to be shitting water all day, ha 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 ha," and his cronies, ha 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 ha, right? And then he's making a beeline straight to them, to Shy and Lamb, and he goes, "I'm Papa Ring," and Shy goes, "Yeah, I kind of could predict that, I guess, because of the big ass ring in his ear." He knows that she's Shy's South, and he goes, "You must be Lamb." He goes, "If I must, I guess I must." So then he's like, "Oh, do you mind if I sit?" And Shy goes, "What if I said yes?" And he was already about to say, he goes, "Ah, well, I'll sit anyway. Sorry." He says, "I got no fucking graces at all. Ask anyone, no fucking graces." Okay.
Oh, fucking graces.
Now, Shy, took a quick glance around the room, and Savian hadn't even looked over there, but she caught the faintest gleam of a blade ready under the table, and that made her feel better. Which Savian's a real one. He's gonna have your back, So, and Camlin comes bustling over, and he's like, "Welcome, Papa. You're very welcome." And Papa goes, "Well, why wouldn't I be?" He goes, no reason at all. Just as long as there's no trouble." And he goes, well, who wants trouble? I'm here to talk. Talk's how it always begins. Talk's how everything begins. And Camlin goes, my concern is how it will conclude. And Lamb, who hasn't looked up at once since Papa Ring entered, right? He's still just eating. He says, how's a man to know that till he's talked? And Papa's like, yeah, all right. So anyway, Camling leaves because Papa Ring isn't going to get any food from here. And I like
Not
how
only
Papa
that, though, he fucking dismisses him, doesn't he? He's just like,
yeah,
fuck off.
yeah,
we're talking.
you can lose yourself. Anyway, so he goes, how you find the crease? You like it? Great. You meet the mayor? Yep, I know you did. Okay. So she's got graces, doesn't she, our mayor? Smooth as mirror glass. When she talks, you feel swaddled in a goose-down blanket. The worthier folks around here, they tend to move in her orbit. Those manners, that way, the worthy folks lap that stuff up. So he's already going off by saying the mayor's not going to help you better yourselves. And Papa Ring's like, I'm not going to help you, but at least I'll be honest about it. Which is okay. That's an interesting way to go about it.
It's like the guy who's at work who's an asshole. He's like, I'm not an asshole. I'm just honest. You're like, no, you're still an asshole. Like,
well, but he is saying he is like quite the evil bastard and everything.
I know, but like, you know what I mean.
He may be a goon, but at least he's an honest goon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and again, we just have to address at this point the accent that Pacey chooses for Papa Ring in this book, which is actually the first non-European accent that we've had.
Really?
And that's not true. That's not true. How dare you? Did you forget about our friend of many talents?
Oh, okay.
Brother Longfoot.
I did forget about Brother Longfoot. Yeah, that's a good point.
Did you say wrong foot?
Right. Yeah, he did definitely put a wrong foot at some point. When the foot got caught in the anvil, that's a wrong foot.
Great point.
Well,
Anyway.
I wonder
what I meant was
He's gonna
that
change
it's
his
the
name.
first New World accent. It's the first like a modern sort of like a New World accent. You know what I mean? Because Papa Ring is a sort of Jamaican or maybe even Barbadian sort of accent.
Yeah, which honestly I think Pacey. It's not Pacey's best voice, but I do like that that's in here because Papa Ring is like in his he is. In a way, they're in the new world, in the Union, Gurkish mindset, because this is the lost world, the one that they're coming to settle down, and so I can see why he did that accent. I never thought about it until just now, but he did that kind of a new world accent maybe for that reason, and this is kind of a it's a Caribbean accent, and a Caribbean accent is known lots of times too as like having a more piratey feeling, and this is
Papa
definitely
Ring
the way he
100% feels like a pirate. Yeah, 100%.
Yes. Especially with that accent. So,
oh boy.
Well, it's a good point, George. I didn't think about it that
way. Yeah. He does have the new accent, and he's noticing that Shy's doing all the talking, but now we're getting the impression he's kind of here to talk to Lamb. And he goes, like, does she do all the talking? And Lamb goes, the vast majority. So he's
I like how he's still eating as well. He just says it, the vast majority.
Yeah, he's not looking up. And Papa Ring's like, oh, I'm here to, offer some friendly advice. Lamb goes, I'm getting old for advice, even the friendly kind. But Papa goes, well, you're getting old for brawling too, but I hear tell that you might be involving yourself in some bare fist business we got coming to Crease. Lamb, he shrugs. He goes, I fought a bout or two in my youth, which is pretty funny. But Papa Ring goes, well, I would rather this fight didn't happen at all. And Shy goes, ooh, you worried your man might lose? And Papa Ring's like, no, not really. My man's famous for beating a lot of famous men and beating them bad. But the fact is I'd rather the mayor packed up nice and quiet. He doesn't mind seeing a little blood spilled. It shows people he cares, but too much is bad for business. And he's got big plans for this place. Good plans. But, who cares about that?
I've got very big plans for this place. We're going to be building towers, lots and lots of towers. Everyone will go, wow, look at Carice. What a great place to live. Well, I'm gonna build a mansion, and the mayor's going to pay for it.
Well, so Papa Ring, his main thing, the thing he's asking them, he goes, just tell me this. If the answer is yes, I'll leave you alone to enjoy your shitty breakfast in peace. Have you given the mayor a certain yes, or can I still make you a better offer? He may not have the graces, but he's always willing to deal. Just tell me what she's promised you. And Lamb looks up for the first time, and he goes, Gregor Cantless. And this time, Shai saw that Papa Ring's smile slipped for the first time at the name. And Shai goes, you know him then. And Papa goes, he works for me, has worked for me at times. And then Lamb goes, was he working for you when he burned my farm, killed my friend, and stole two children from me? And Papa Ring is like, what the fuck? He sits back and he goes, that's a crazy accusation, stealing kids. I can tell you right now, I have no part of that. And Shai goes, well, it seems you got one even so, because Gregor's his man. And
it's funny though, because he does because we kind of find out later, and I don't mind spoiling this now because we won't talk about it later, but we find out that Gregor Cantless comes to this and steals children for the Dragon People because he's in debt to Papa Ring.
Papa Ring, right.
So indirectly, he does have a say in all this,
Yeah, he does. And Papa goes, what kind of man would I be if I gave up my people just on your say-so? And Lamb, at this point, he's like, I don't care one fucking shit what kind of man you are. Give me Cantless and we're done. Get in my way and there'll be trouble. And, because he got mad and he was gripping the cutlery real tight. Shai sees Savian sitting up very watchful, and Lamb's even like digging bending the knife at a right angle. And Papa goes, all right, listen, you're very confident given no one's ever heard of you. And I like how Lamb goes, I've been through this before. I got a fair idea how it turns out.
Papa Ring's line, literally the next line is my favorite as well. It's like,
he goes, my man ate cutlery.
He will be. And it's like
the way we're seeing Lamb now is the way we didn't see him inside of the previous books. Not really. This is much more akin to a little short story that we're going to be getting later on, which is this: how did at the end of Last Game of Kings, we get this, the whole like, this is actually your fault. You're actually the asshole and all this stuff that you got from Bethod, and you're like, oh wow, that's crazy, but you really didn't sure how it looked. This is how it looked, by just extreme and utter intimidation. If we were playing D&D, Logan would have advantage on all his intimidation checks and like +10. Like everyone's fucking terrified of him, and he also knows how to control the conversation better than you would think. And it's usually just with blunt, like, accusation of here's the facts. You're gonna give me this, well, I'll kill you. And usually most people don't live their life like that. So it's horrifying and kind of cool.
Yeah. And so Shai, she cuts in. She goes, just tell us where Cantless is and we'll be on our way and out of yours. And this time Papa Ring's like, he got out of patience. He goes, girl, do you suppose you could sit back and let me and your father talk this out? She goes, not really. Maybe it's my ghost blood, but I'm cursed with a contrary temperament. Folk warn me off a thing. I just start thinking on how to go about it. Can't help myself. And Papa Ring is just like, and he goes, all right, I understand. Someone stole my children. There'd be nowhere in the circle of the world for those bastards to run to. But don't make me your enemy where I could every bit as easily be your friend. I just can't hand you Cantless. Maybe that's what the mayor would do, but it ain't my way. I'll tell you what, though. Next time he comes to town, we can all sit down and talk this out, get to the truth of it, see if we can't find your young ones. I'll help you every way I can. You got my word. And Shai goes, your word? And she spat into her food. And he goes, look, I got no graces, but I got my word. That's what everything stands on my side of the street. Folk are loyal to me because I'm loyal to them. Break that, I got nothing. Break that, I am nothing. But forget my word and just look at it this way. You want the mayor's help, you're going to have to fight for it. And believe me, that'll be one hell of a fight. You want my help? And he just shrugs. All you got to do is not fight. And Shai's considered. She goes, you know what? She doesn't like this guy, but there is something about what he's saying, and like she how the mayor is, Carla, is full of great, just like great gracious, and Shy gets uncomfortable around that stuff. So she's considering it, and Lamb, he nods, then he straightens out his knife, tosses it on his plate, stands, and he goes, "What if I'd rather fight?" And he goes for the door. He walks to the door, and Papa Ring's confused. He goes, "Who'd rather fight? Just think about it. It's all I'm asking. Be reasonable."
And like, what the fuck?
Then Shy, she goes out too. She starts following Lamb. She's like, "Yo, hold on," and she's trying to find, going through the crowd. She sees Temple on top of the building. They're building the forge, the metalworks for Mahood and Kernsbeck. And Temple, he waves at her, and she goes 70. And she goes, she couldn't see his face, but the shoulders of his silhouette slumped in a faintly heartening way. So she loves flirting with him like this. It's just like bothering him about these debts. And then she finally catches up to Lamb. Who, they were just getting close. They were like basically in front of the mayor's church of dice. And she grabs his arm, and she's looking at him. He goes, "What do you think you're doing?" And he goes, taking the mayor up on her offer. And Shy's like, "What? Just because that fat guy just rubbed you the wrong way?" And Lamb came real close, and he goes, "That, and because his man stole your brother and sister." And she's like, "Do you think I'm happy about that? But we don't know the ins and outs of it. He seemed reasonable enough considering." And Lamb looks back at Camling's how do you say it? Hostelry?
Hostelry.
Huh?
Hostelry.
Hostelry. And he goes, "Some men only listen to violence." And she goes, "Some men only talk it. Never took you for one of them. Did we come for pit and row or for blood?" And she said this as like just to make a point. It wasn't really a question, but Lamb actually is considering the answer, and he goes, "I'm thinking I might get all three." And she,
that's unhinged.
I know. And she stares at him and she goes, "Who the fuck are you? There was a time where men could rub your face in the dung and you would just thank them and ask them for more." And Lamb goes, "And you know what?" And he peels her fingers off his arm in almost a painful way. "I remembered I didn't like it much." And he walks right up to the mayor's place. And that's the end of that chapter.
That goes pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's horrifying.
It's every person can relate to that as well. How far will you be willing for other people to tread on you before you go, "No, I've had enough of that," actually.
No, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody's had that, even if you're not Logan and a psychopath.
Yeah, and you have to think about it, like, because of he went above and beyond to be like a coward, Lamb.
Yeah.
AKA, Logan.
But at the end of the day, Logan doesn't have access to modern therapy. He can't work through his problems, so maybe that's the best thing he could have done.
Are you making excuses for him?
Well, he was a great stepdad. He was a great stepdad.
Yeah, he was. Apparently, he was a very good stepdad.
And he's still a committed stepdad to this day. He's just maybe a bit too committed.
Yeah, he just wants to fight as well,
He's definitely not just making excuses for the stepdad. You're totally right.
Well, how would you rate this chapter, Harrison?
This is like one of those political chapters, and it's pretty cool. Like in terms of like, there's some plot developments going on. We've been introduced. We got Zacharias popping up. We see, Lamb. He's back to more of a society, and we're getting to see, unfortunately, his true colors, his honesty, and it's not good. So,
well, we still. Go ahead.
I know we're not into the climax of those feelings that he has. So I think I'm gonna give it a good 7 and a knuckle, because I think it sets everything up really well. I think it's really good. A lot of emotional intrigue between the characters and frustrating stuff, and it's good. I like it a lot. So 7 and a knuckle.
George?
I reckon a 7 as well. A 7 is very good. I like everything that you said about it, Harrison, but also I love the casual world building with Zacharias.
Yeah.
just going on in the background that he's built up this whole other kind of resistance movement, and we also, by this point, you must have figured out that, Colin and Savian are part of the rebels, so that's all going on as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that is literally just maybe 10 lines in the background, a little bit of a plot point. I also love Papa Ring because Papa Ring is an absolute. He's such a piece of shit.
He is an utter
but you kind of like him at the same time because he's like,
Mum,
come on. I do like it. He's very charismatic, and I do like him. What about you, Jeffrey?
I'm gonna give it a 6 and a knuckle. I really like the chapter. I think it's a good one. I was thinking like 7 or 7 and a knuckle, but I don't know. My it just feels like 6 and a knuckle. Feels good to me. Political chapter, like Harrison alluded to. We're seeing like the inner workings of something with the rebels, with Savian, Corlin, and Zacharis, because obviously Savian mentioned Molkova. We saw that. Remember, Savian's shirt was torn, and there's like blue tattooed lettering on his skin.
Yep.
I wonder what Zacharis is probably here, plotting. And then like what both of you alluded to is, getting into the ins and outs of the dynamics between the mayor and Papa Ring, and like, the differences, I guess, in approach to how they're currently dealing with this territorial dispute, let's say. And so we finally see Papa Ring, and we know for a fact that Gregor Cantless is his man, and we kind of get a good sense that he has nothing to do with this. Because he goes, "What the fuck? Kids? All right, I get it. What the fuck? That's wild." So, and then obviously, like what Harrison was saying about Lamb and his true feelings and everything, and how he's getting closer and closer to showing them. I mean, it was almost like a fucking the red curtain opens up on stage when in Averstock. And he smiled like he finally got what he wanted for Christmas, and he says, "The ends of your fucking legs." Like, he's like, "Yeah!" That's what he's been, like, secretly waiting for all these years. So.
Yeah, Logan really is a piece of shit.
Hey. He only kills for good. He only kills for good.
For his own ego. In his own mind for good, maybe.
Yeah.
No, not in his own mind. He knows.
Well, all right. So we'll move on to our next segment, which is our community interaction segment. Boys, and that'll be the meeting every chapter, right?
Yeah, just sign up for the meeting every chapter. You know the drill by now.
That's right.
Sign up for the meeting every chapter. You can do it.
If you don't, you are wretched.
That means that both of you are less than wretched, because neither of you have signed up for any of you.
Oh, we can't.
You cheat. Well, just sign up for one and send it to somebody and post it that way. That's what I've done several times already.
All right, you know what? You're right about that. You're right. You're right. I'm just so used to not being able to go on Reddit because somebody got his banned.
I know.
Oh, that's cool.
I remember.
But
anyway, listeners, all of you probably have by now, but please go and sign up for the Meet Me Every Chapter.
Please do.
Please.
Join the Discord. Don't forget to ask for that. Oh, you know what? So we'll move on to our next chapter read through, which is That Simple. And this is Temple's POV. And him and Lamb are basically at the top of the frame, right, of the skeleton of the building that they're building. Lamb is commending him for his talent at carpentry. And Temple is feeling really proud of himself here, too. He never really... It's been a long time since he did some carpentry, but he was enjoying himself.
Absolutely. And again, harkens back to Harrison, what you were saying with the Red Dead Redemption. The house building scene. This is just it. Let's do a little... If they made a film out of Red Country, this bit would be a montage. Just saying.
This bit and when the Fellowship is traveling across the plains for the beginning, like when they're crossing the river and they're fording. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'm picturing like from like folk music playing in the background, indie folk. You know.
Oh yeah.
Um,
And it shows him like kind of like going from one section to the other, like slowly building up, like one of those satisfying videos. And you're like, oh, this is nice. I'll just watch this section on YouTube like 6 times before I go to sleep tonight, so I feel satisfied.
yeah. So oh, it's funny. At Temple, he asked Lamb, "Where's Shy?" And internally, he goes, as though it was no part of a plan to dodge his latest payment. It was getting to be a game between them, one he never seemed to win. Oh, it's funny. And so, Lamb tells him that she's still, walking around town asking questions about the kids. She's trying Papa Ring's side of the street by now. And, Temple goes, "Was that safe?" And he goes, "I doubt it, but you never know." I like how Temple goes, "Shouldn't you stop her?" And Lamb goes, "Pfft. Last time I tried to stop her, she was 10 years old and it didn't stick then." And and then Temple goes, "Once she has a destination in mind, she isn't one to stop halfway." And Lamb goes, "Gotta love that about her. She's no coward, that girl." And he had pride in his voice when he said that.
That's so sweet. See, that's what I'm talking about. He's like, Shy, stay out of my way. I'm gonna get to be a murderer. I'm gonna get to save my kids. I'm gonna get laid. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. And you're in my way, kid. And then the next thing he's like, God, I'm so proud of her. What a woman she's turned out to be. You're like, aw. Like, no, he's bad. He's bad.
Yeah, Logan has such single dad energy here, doesn't he?
But it's funny. And then Temple goes, "Well, why are you helping me and not her?" And he goes, "Well, I've already found a way to find Pitt and Row. I'm just waiting for Shy to come around to the cost." And Temple goes, "Okay, well, what's that?" And he goes, "Well, the mayor wants a favor. She and Papa Ring, they bet Crease on a fight, because they each own half the town more or less." And Temple goes, "Okay." And he tells it that these two have been squabbling for years. Neither one's come out top, so they're putting on a fight. Winner takes all. Two men in a circle, more than likely with a considerable audience and a fair few side bets. One comes out alive, one comes out otherwise, and everyone else comes out thoroughly entertained." And Temple goes, "Shit." And Lamb goes, "Yeah, Papa Rings brought in a man called Glam Golden, Northman, big name in his day. Lamb's heard that he's been fighting for money in pits and pens all across the near country, and he's been winning a lot, too. The mayor, well, she's been searching high and low for someone to stand up for her." And he just kind of gives Temple a long look. And Temple goes, "Oh, shit." Oh, boy. And so Temple asks him, he goes, "Have you had any practice at that kind of thing?" And Lamb goes, "Well, as luck would have it, my luck being what it is, more than a little." And, Temple goes, "Are you sure that the mayor's on the right side of this?" And Lamb looks down and he just thinks, like, in his experience, there's rarely such a thing as a right side. And when there is, he's had an uncanny knack of picking out the other. So all he knows is that Gregor Cantless killed his friend, burned his farm, and stole 2 children he swore to protect.
I don't like how that is still the justification that he's giving to everyone. Like, even though he's told Shy, it might be otherwise.
No, he told Shy he wants blood along with this. Now, and that is the thing, because if he just wanted blood, he could just kill Temple right now. Let's be real. So
he's not an idiot.
He's the bloody 9. Easier to stop the white flow. Anyway, so he says that Papa Ring's standing by him, so he's made himself my enemy, and the mayor is standing against him, and that makes her my friend. And I like how Temple goes, "Are things really ever that simple?" Lamb goes, "When you step into a circle with the intention of killing a man, it's best if they are." And then Temple hears someone call his name. And Temple's looking, it's kind of hard to see because the sun's falling low. The glare is kind of in his eyes. A couple times this guy's calling up his name. He's like, "Is that you up there?" And it took him like a third time to really like look before he realized he recognized that man. And now he goes, "Oh shit, Burmy?" And Lamb goes, "Friend of yours?" And Temple goes, we know each other." And he goes down the ladder, and now he's panicking. He goes, "Oh fuck, how close is the company? How close is the company of the Gracious Hand?" Right? And He goes
This is
down.
what I mean. This is what I mean by when I say a few episodes ago where you always feel like they're catching up with you. Like this point where he's like, "Oh shit, this has always been in the back of my mind." That the company of the gracious hand is literally right behind me.
Yeah.
I think too. Like, I agree. In our special episode, we talked about how we wish we kind of got to saw more of the company on their way out here. But I do think that Joe did do something on purpose here, and that purpose was the fact that it's like you forget about them. Like you're so caught up doing them all doing their thing that I forgot about them.
Yeah. We forgot about him. We haven't seen him in a minute. Seen them in a minute. Yeah, we're so like caught up with Shy and Temple and like their different perspectives of the same journey so far, right? And so Temple, when he gets up to Burmy asks him, he's like, "Hey, how you doing? You okay? You look sick." Temple disregards that. He goes, "Is Costco with you?" And Burmy is smiling. He goes, "I'm happy to say he's not, nor any of those other bastards. I dare say he's still floundering about the near country, bragging to that bloody biographer and searching for ancient gold he'll never find. If he hasn't given up and gone back to Starkland to get drunk." And Temple basically closed his eyes and was like, "Thank heaven." And he grabs Burmy. He's like, "Yeah, I'm good, better than all right." He goes, "What the hell brings you out here?" And Burmy says that that Temple showed him the way after that town, Averstock. That he's done. That Burmy says he's done things he's not proud of, but that was nothing else but murder. So Casca sent him to find Temple afterwards. Apparently Casca said you were the most important man in the whole damn company. So 2 days out, then Burmy runs into a fellowship coming west to mine for gold, and half of them were from Paranti, from his hometown. So he goes, it's like God had a purpose, so he just joined them. He said, fuck that. He left the company of the fucking finger, and off we went.
It's funny, like, except for the ghost encounter and falling off the cliff into the river, like, Burmy's story is almost exactly the same as Temple's.
Yeah,
I know.
Exactly. And
it's kind of like, if we had a little bit of a different story, maybe it would have been Burmy the one.
Burmy should have been our main character as the Temple.
Yeah.
And it really does feel like that. And again, Joe, goddamn, what a good fucking world-building moment.
Mm-hmm. And then, so, Burmy asks him, like, "Oh, you a carpenter now?" He goes, "That's just one way to clear my debts." And so Burmy goes, "Oh, fuck your debts. We're going into the hills. We got a claim up there. Men are just sieving nuggets out of the mud up there. You should come with us. Always room for a carpenter with a sense of humor." And then Temple's like, when do you leave? And he goes, 5 days, maybe 6. Okay, what would a man need to bring? Just some good clothes and a shovel. We've got the rest. And Temple's looking for a trick, or Burmy's like lying to him, but there was no sign of one. Perhaps there was a god after all. And Temple says, "Are things ever really that simple?" And Burmy's like, "You're the one that always loved to make things complicated. This is the new frontier, the land of opportunities, America. And you got anything keeping you here?" And Temple looks up at Lamb. He goes, "I suppose not. Nothing but debts." And that's the end of that chapter. Fucking Temple. He better not.
Temple.
He better not.
The temptation of Temple. We've got it here. It's good stuff. And you would be, wouldn't you? You would be tempted if you were in Temple's situation. Don't tell me otherwise.
He's a little
Probably.
bitch.
Oh, well, I'd be tempted. I'd 100% be tempted.
You're a little bitch.
I think it's telling
Okay.
how he is with like Temple, right? Like it's like an addict, right? To go the easy path, to play it safe, and now he's, as soon as he gets an opportunity to take the easy way, to not have to have obligations, to not be emotionally attached, to get easy money, he's like, yeah, okay, like it's like I think it's kind of what it's symbolizing. Is
it's like he's been on rehab from bad decisions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't had the opportunity to make bad decisions for a couple of months. And now he's like, "Oh, yeah, let's dive straight back in." And that's kind of, yeah, I get that.
Do you think it's been a couple months? I don't know if it's been a couple months. I think it's been like weeks.
I reckon 2 months.
You
It's
think
been a couple
overall?
months.
You think so?
I have no doubt it's been a couple months. I mean, you think they got all the way out here in a couple weeks?
The house building took at least a month.
Oh, yes, that did take probably, I would say 3 to 6 weeks.
The whole thing, like from square deal to now.
The whole thing.
I reckon probably between 8 to 10 weeks overall.
Think so? Okay. I mean, loyal listeners,
Been a couple months.
if you're a better Adeptus than our Adeptus Historical,
No,
then
because here's the thing. Here's
please
the thing.
figure
The
this
way
out.
I think, whenever they at the end of the book, it's been about a year because that's how Joe does his stuff, and that's how they talk about it. It's been like a year, but you know the biggest indicator for how much time has passed is it's been more time than that actually.
It's not been any more than a year. There's no way it's been more than a
You
year.
know, hang on, listen.
Promise you it's
The
not.
Dragon People,
Yeah.
which we'll get to here very shortly. Rowan Pitt, within the time span of them, like they're the best indicators because their time frame is a lot bigger, a lot different, and we know that it takes them a long time to travel back because by the time they get back, by the end of the book, they have longer hair again.
Yeah, and that is a good point actually.
They have longer.
That's
hair
what we know.
again?
It takes several months for them to travel all
Because
the way
hair
across.
only grows about an inch a month, so if you're going to grow a little bit of hair back,
Yes.
Mm,
Because by the time they get back to Crease from the up in the hills, she says, "Oh, Ro and Pitt are already starting to get scruff in their hair and their head again," which implies it's been a couple of weeks for them traveling and getting back to Crease and chilling back out. So let's just leave the timeline out and we can talk about it at the end. But the point is this book does take a long time. The travel, it does have some pretty big time skips.
I reckon the whole of Red Country is probably about a year.
You think so?
I would say so. That's what they talked about at the end. That it's already been a year.
At least since when Shy was at Square Deal talking and making the deal, and when Temple and Costco and the company are making the deal back at in Starkland. I reckon all of that to the end is about a year.
Temple or Shy at the end of the book, we'll see. Temple or Shy at the end of the book does say it's been a year and we're back. So much has changed. Everything is the same and everything's not the same.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
I don't think it's been a year. I mean, we'll get to it, but let's go off the logic, right? The famous fellowship and before they're hanged, that took 6 months.
Yeah, I'm looking at the map right now, and it's nowhere near as much distance.
What are you talking about?
Well,
they traveled. They traveled farther.
I'm looking at the map right now.
Jeffrey, can I explain something?
From
Jeffrey,
Adjua all the way to the left to the
Jeffrey,
there's no sailing included in
Jeffrey. Can I explain something?
What?
Our story?
Oh, this story.
Half the distance they travel before they hanged is sailing. The other half, they are only like 5 people traveling on foot. Almost all of them experienced travelers.
Yeah,
and
which is way faster than a caravan.
And they also intentionally go straight across. They don't take any divergence. They go straight across.
Mm-hmm.
Here, they're in a caravan going probably half the speed that they were going because they have to worry and they have to camp and they got to make sure everything's good to go. And they get up early and they go till night. They don't travel as long, not as fast. Like there's a lot more involved there, and the distance is larger because in the north part of the far country, it is a larger landmass than it is in the southern part.
Okay.
So
I'm not entirely convinced just yet, but we got a podcast to do. But we shall.
Well, at the end of the book, it's been a year.
Have we already given our scores here, or
No.
All right, so Jeffrey.
This is a 4 for me. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward, simple, chapter. Burmy makes his return, and Temple is about to be a conniving little shit and leave.
I'm gonna give it a 5 just for that as well because I love the fact that Temple is actually tempted here.
Mm-hmm.
I think it makes it really humanizes him because who wouldn't be tempted by this?
Right.
I like that, and I also like the dialogue between Logan and Temple as well.
No, that was a good one.
I'm going to give it a 4 and a knuckle.
Nice. Hey, love it. All right. Well, you're same reason as both of us. Nothing else to add. You're good.
Not really. I mean, I kind of already covered everything I have to say about that one.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So now we'll move on to our next segment, which is our best meme of the week. Georgie boy, that's you. Take it away.
So we've got the new friend of the pod. It's Socrat 090666 again.
Socrat again.
It's Socrates again.
Yeah.
Socrates?
They've been on a roll, an absolute roll. Socrates 0966. Is that what you said, Harrison?
Yeah, Socrates.
Yeah, Socrates. We'll just call them Socrates from now on because they just bring us so much wisdom.
Mhm.
Anyway, yes. So you guys saw the meme in the chat there, didn't you?
Yeah, I saw it.
So this is one from back earlier, and it's not actually a memeing of a chapter, so it's not from the recent books. It's from the last argument of Kings, and it's and that child is none other than Colonel Giselle Luther. And then it's just the picture of Patrick from SpongeBob laughing, and then the picture of you just see it. I don't know how to describe fucking SpongeBob memes. I don't get it. It's funny though.
I don't understand. That's not meme either, but that's because I didn't have a good childhood. Wasn't allowed to watch it and all that bullshit. And for all people who are like, well, what do you watch as an adult? I'm not gonna watch it as an adult. I don't have no interest.
No. There's no reason.
It's a good meme.
You didn't grow up with it. You're not getting it.
It's a good meme. It's a good meme. It's funny. It's funny. I see I see the facial expressions.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Thank you, Socrat. Appreciate it. Continue, hitting us with those memes, man. We love it. We love it. And again, don't forget, memeing every chapter, folks. Don't freaking forget to sign up for that. But we will move on to our third and final chapter read-through. And this one is yesterday's news. And this one is from Shai's point of view. And she is carrying out what Lamb said in the previous chapter. Is she's on Papa's Ring side of town, asking questions. Have you seen children, stolen by a man named Gregor Cantless? And people are like, oh, hey, fuck you. What are you doing, right? She runs into this. Person. Well, first she runs into Hedges, right? She runs into Hedges, gives him
It's
been a whiny little shit because he's like, you wouldn't have thought that I'd led a charge and I was wrong.
I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, Jeffrey, right here. Look, they're 10 and 6, 7. He'd be 7 by now. That implies that a nice chunk of time has passed.
Few months.
Thank you.
Yeah, that could be as little. That could be as little as a couple of weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
It could be anything.
All right, it's my turn. George, cut that out.
So, she sees Hedges, and apparently on the trail he had a spark of hope about him, right, on the trail. But once he got to Crease, it's Crease is no place to make your hopes healthier. I guess because he couldn't find work. He's probably been gambling or drinking it away.
That's all he's been doing this whole book as well. So do not feel sorry for Hedges. Let's move on from Hedges.
Well, I mean, it's a little awkward here. The guy's done nothing.
He's a fake war veteran.
He's literally stolen valor, basically.
Maybe, yeah. And he goes, well, can you spare a couple of bits? And it's like, ooh, she knew it. Yeah.
It's like they didn't even have to say it because she knew exactly what he was going to say.
Yeah, he goes,
oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, and then she gives it to him, and she's about to, she walks off, and he goes, aren't you going to tell me not to drink at all? She goes, listen, if folks have the right to pick their own method of destruction. And Hedges goes, so they do. You're not so bad, Shy South. You're all right. So,
You know what? That's a good attitude,
Yeah. I'm just laughing because
it's a good. You give your money to somebody on the street.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit what they spend it on?
Right. No,
it is.
You need a drink to get through the day. Go ahead.
Go on.
What do you think I'm going to do with it?
Get a drink.
I agree.
Exactly.
So yeah, she leaves Hedges alone to drink his the money that she donated to him away, and so she's asking people about like looking for kids. No one can help her, but she runs.
Which, by the way, is so diligent of her. Like it's like, I think this is a big contrast, right? Like Logan is, yes, he's kind of like more mature in the way of being like, we just got to go after him. We got to take our time. It's just not going to matter if we rush there, if we get killed, we need help, all that stuff. He's not wrong. But, and this is what makes that little storytelling between Logan and Shy, like the duality and Joe's writing and all of that so cool, is because, yes, that's true. But that Shy just wants to get her siblings back so badly. Everywhere she goes, she asks everybody she meets, any information, what can you do to help, and everything. And I'm just not convinced Logan feels exactly the same way.
Ye of little faith.
I know, but props to her.
Props to her. Yeah. So, what Shy after she leaves Hedges, she runs into this woman who is peddling newspapers, and not just any kind of newspapers, but newspapers from like 10 years ago. George, you want to talk about this one? Like her.
I think this character is absolutely brilliant. I love it. She's like, "You want the news? You want it? You want it? You want it?" She's like, "Yes, rebels in Averstock that faced defeat," and she's just like, "Shy's like, yeah, that happened like before I even left."
In the country, everyone knows it. She goes, the lady requires something fresher.
I love that the idea that this lady is making a living doing this is so funny because news does travel slow. Maybe that is the latest news she has.
No, but the funnier thing about this is that she goes, I got some fresher news for you. And she goes, Styrian conflict ends. Sapani opens gate to the Snake of Talons. And it's even 2 years before that. So she's going farther back in time.
But again, this is such a good way of giving us a little bit of exposition. Because we haven't really heard anything about these things.
Yes.
But Shy is aware of it.
Right.
Yes, it is a good way.
So it's interesting that all of the characters know about it, but there's no reason for them to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, in every other fucking fantasy series that I've ever read, some character just comes up and dumps a load of exposition like, oh, did you know? The Styria felt it. And it's just like, yeah, okay.
Oh,
yes,
exposition dump.
This is incredibly refreshing to get a bit of like kind of retrospective like world building.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But through a comedic character.
Yeah. No, it's good.
What a weird and interesting way to do that. I don't think I've seen any other author do that.
But it's good though. It's good and it's hilarious.
Yes, I'd say it's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I know you are. I'm agreeing with you. Yeah, it's just funny as shit. And then she goes, challenge indeed. Legate Sarmis is menacing the border of the near country. Fears of imperial...
like, he's been menacing since before I was born, love.
Oh, that's funny. And then, but she does. She's definitely like messed up in the head because she, at some point when she leaned forward, Shy could see the top of her tall hat was torn off, and she could look at her scalp, and she saw it scabby and a smell of rot. So she's like, "Oh,
Jesus Christ!"
Yeah,
definitely some latent Lyme disease or something there.
I don't know, but
I like the fact that we're introduced. People on the edge of society here increase. All of them are just absolutely fucked up, and they don't really know what they're doing. None of them are really sane.
Well, this is frontiers living, baby. You got to make it you got to fake it till you make it.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I think that's part of the thing too, right? Like the fellowships that are coming there, a lot of people were just running to escape, and now actual people who are looking and bringing opportunities and a better lifestyle and everything, they're actually finally getting here now after all this time.
Right, because you have.
So,
go ahead.
Yeah. No, I just was agreeing with you. Like, that's why. It's because there hasn't been like people who are actually going to make a better life for themselves yet. Like, this is the first group coming there because of gold. Right, but it's funny enough.
It mirrors basically what happened with the gold rush here, right? Whereas, so many people went to locations looking for gold, but the people who really struck it rich were the people that followed and set up shop to provide supplies, shovels, pickaxes, mining or sieving supplies. But then also I think Levi's jeans started out during the gold rush out there. The clothing. And so, we have Mahood and Kernsbick. They have the right idea in coming out here to start a forge because they're going to make a killing because they're probably going to be the only one of their kind for some time. They're going to have such a foothold in the market, So this is, you're absolutely right, Harrison. Absolutely right. Capitalism at its finest, and I don't want to hear one goddamn contrary word. Anyway. Bunch of commies out here. Okay. Anywho, so Shy lets the newspaper lady walk away, and she keeps saying she's looking for a pair of kids and whatnot. And finally, these three guys are like, "I'll give you some kids." Like, oh Jesus, oh Jesus.
Jesus, get these hedges fucks out of here.
It's another thing that Joe's really good at, just showing us how nasty people can be all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's always like, haha, that's a funny joke for this comedy, because that's what we're reading, right? And then it'll be like,
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like how the one that goes, "I'll give you children, girl," she calls him in his head Leary because he's just leering at her. And then when she says, "I'm looking for a guy named Gregor Cantless," stole him. Then the mood changed, and then they go, "You got some balls to be asking questions like that over here," and so they kind of they start to kind of like surround her a little bit. The tension's getting like a bit, and so she reaches for a knife. And she goes, "Look, you better stop right there." And they're going to be like, "Oh, you think you're going to use that knife, little girl?" She's like, "Listen here, little girl," and whatever. And then finally,
I like how she's probably more offended by that comment than the actual interaction.
She probably is. And then somebody comes, a big man stands in the doorway, and he goes, "Leave her be." Big hardly did him justice. His fist up on the frame looked about the size of Shy's head. And Larry goes, you can stay out of this," but this guy goes, I could, but I'm not. This guy goes, "You say you're looking for Cantless?" She goes, and then this person goes, well, not this person goes. Leary and Squinty and these guys say, "Don't tell her nothing." And the guy goes, "You can shut up or I can shut you up." And he walks out, and he looks even bigger than Lamb. And he has a soft accent, from the north. And he goes to Shy, "Don't pay these idiots no mind. They've got big bones for fights that they're sure of winning, but not enough for a toothpick otherwise." And he says that Cantless is from the same cloth, puffed up fool, blah, blah, blah. But he goes, he owes Papa Ring a lot of money, as he heard it. He hasn't been around for a while now, though. Not much more he can tell her. And at least Shy thanks him for that. He goes, "My pleasure." And he looks at Leary and he goes, "Get out of her way." And so Leary, he goes to walk out of her way by going up this building.
Stand in the sewer?
Yeah, he goes, this guy goes, "No. Stand over there in the stream." He goes, "In the sewer?" He goes, "Yeah." So this person is he's talking to Shy now, and he goes, "What are you looking for kids for?" He goes, "Well, her brother and sister, maybe he can help." She goes, "This is suspicious." He goes, "Well, he knows what it's like to lose your family. It's like losing a part of you, He had to leave his behind in the north. He knows it was the best thing for him, the only thing, but it still cuts at him.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't think it ever would because he can't say he valued them much when he had them, but it cuts at him." So she's, they start chatting it up. She goes, "I'm here with my father, who's kind of my father." And this person goes, "How can someone be kind of your father?" She goes, "He's managed it." So he goes, "Well, shouldn't he be helping to look too?" He goes, "He is in his own way. He's building a house over on the other side of the street. Oh, it's a good building, nice one." And he's trusting. She tells him that he's trusting someone else to help with that, though, with finding the kids. And she says, "The mayor." And he goes, well, "I'd sooner trust a snake with my fruits than that woman with anything." And she goes, "You know what? You haven't told me your proper name yet." And he goes, "I was hoping to avoid it. People tend to look at me different once they know it." And she goes, "Oh, was it one of those funny ones? Is it Arse Howl, maybe?" Ha ha ha. And he goes, you would say, it would actually be an improvement over what my name really is." And he goes, "Well, my name is," and someone says it. He goes, "Glamour Golden." And this person that says it is a dude that's been drinking, just straight up hammered. And he's in the middle of the street, and he's like about to challenge him to a fight. And he goes, "You're the one that killed Stalkling Bear. You're the one that won all them fights. You don't look like much." And the guy goes, "I'm not much." Glamour, she goes, "I ain't much." And the kid, the drunk guy, wasn't sure what the.
Just before we go on, Jeff, everybody's seen the little guy start a fight with the club bouncer, right?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody's seen that. This guy that is just way out of his depth starting a fight with a guy that's twice his size, and he's just like, you don't want to do this, man. Come on, please.
You're like, what are you doing, dude?
I like what this guy goes. He's not sure what to do when Glamour says, "I ain't much." He goes, well, I'm fucking calling you out."
It is pretty
Glamour,
fucking funny.
Very brave.
yeah, and Glamour goes, "What if I ain't listening?" And the guy doesn't know what to do. He's like looking around. He's like, what the fuck?" And then he goes, he sees Shy. He goes, "Who's this bitch? You fucking." And then Glamour just interrupts. He goes, "Just don't make me kill you, boy, please." And then the guy kind of just goes, he flinches a little bit, and then he goes, "It ain't fucking worth it." And he turned around, backed away, and walked off. And so Shy goes, "You're Glamour Golden," and he's like, "Yeah, though I know full well there ain't much golden about me these days. Hell of a thing being famous, hell of a thing." And she goes, "So you're the one standing for Papa Ring in this fight?" And he goes, "That I am. Though I have to say he's hopeful it won't happen. He heard that the mayor's got no one to fight for her." But then his eyes narrow when he's looking at Shy. He goes, "Why? What have you heard?" She goes, "Nothing. Nothing at all." And that's the end of that chapter. Boys, how do you rate it?
Well, before that, do you think I'd love this growth from Glamour Golden that we've seen since the Heroes?
Sure. For sure. I mean, yeah.
I think last time we saw him, he was actually living up to his name with being so vain and uptight and just pissed off about everything, and now he's just so defeated, almost like Lamb, in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, Glamour.
I think it's a good parallel again with with how he is with Logan. Like, we're seeing Logan be like, he's had all this time, he's lived a better life than most have in terms of like in the past few years, and he's like, oh yes, finally. But we're getting to see somebody who's truly, legitimately remorseful for how they have been in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a big stark difference there between those two characters, and I think that's very cool.
Yeah, Glamour. He looks like a good guy. Sounds like a good guy now. Completely different from the pompous guy that we saw in the Heroes, which is literally just a few years ago in this timeline, but in the previous book we just read, which is funny. And we see Glamour again, and there's nothing golden about him except for maybe his mustache. So, what do you rate it, boys?
I reckon I love this chapter because it's so funny, and we get a load of world building that is, like I said, very subtle in the way that it's kind of disguised in this sort of comedic throwaway character. And at the same time, we also get another character that is going to be a big fight in the future, and also get a bit of humanizing in that. And I think just in the way that is dealt with, I'm actually going to give this one a 7 again.
Oh, okay. Harrison?
I like the parallels here. Also, like, Logan's supposed to be her protector, and Logan's supposed to be helping find the children, and he's not there. And who's there? This other Northman,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really done very well too. So I think I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 9 for me.
Nice. Okay. Good. So I think I'm gonna give it a 6 and a knuckle. I really like, as you guys kind of mentioned, the world building. And it's like world building done in a nice way, like in a organic way, easy to digest. It's not like you said it before, exposition dumping. Really good. And then we get to see this complete like 180 shift in terms of behavior and personality from Glamour, which is really nice to see. He's being such a gentleman with Shy, and he's even like offering to help as much as he can to find the kids, which is nice. So yeah, 6 and a knuckle for me. Yeah, very good stuff. So we move on to our final segment, which is our character spot. Boys, who are we highlighting today?
Zacharias.
Huh? You
Zacharias.
nice. Okay. Let's talk about Zacharias.
Again, I love Zacharias because he is literally Radagast the Brown, but a bit more political.
Yes.
But I love the fact that it kind of embraces more of the everybody just thinks he's a fucking weirdo, which is what would happen if Radagast the Brown was brought into a regular fantasy universe, you know.
Well, I mean,
Oh, it's true. Like everybody's looking at him like all these birds flying around. It's like, yes, the robin says that you're a cunt.
Yeah. That's funny. That's very true.
Crow says your wife's getting porked by the baker right now.
And you can always trust crows because they're very intelligent.
Pigeons, though, lying sacks of shit.
Pigeons will do anything for a bit of bread. Little sluts.
Everybody knows that. It's always the vibe that it's got. It's like,
But you know what's funny, and George, you alluded to this earlier when we were talking about Zacharias, is despite his eccentricities, right?
He's a big player.
Very clearly up to something. And so, it's like Baez has, I don't want to say the North, I'll say the Union, right? But he lives in the North. But, we have Khalul in the South. And then we have Zacharias in the West proper. Because Call Neal, she's too busy, lavish, living it up in that library out there.
totally. She definitely will be stuck in that way. Totally.
But there's no other, what?
But we know that Baez has the North now because of Calder. He has Calder under his
Right. Yeah. But what I mean to say is, so we have three Magi that are players. Do we have anybody out east? No. I mean, the closest one is
these are the only ones we know.
Shanked.
We know. I mean, obviously, Gilway is dead. We know Shanked is doing his own thing, and Shanked is also with Monza.
So he's handling the east.
But at the same time, we don't really know that Shanked is at the same kind of power level as the original.
You have to imagine he was once apprenticed to Baez, so he's got to be up there.
Great Baez himself.
Yeah, but if he was at that level, why wouldn't he just go straight after Baez?
It's well, I mean, why doesn't Khalul just go straight after Baez? It's all proxy shit.
He does.
But it's all proxy.
There's a reason he doesn't. He literally he talks about how
not himself, but I see what you mean. But I mean,
yeah,
he does go through a process to build up forces and fight Baez. But if Shanked was at his combat level, where we know that Baez isn't really like a combat guy, he kind of can do things every now and again.
Yeah,
hang on. I actually kind of disagree with both of you guys. So Khalul is not strong enough to fight Baez on 1v1. We talked about this before in the original series. Nobody is. Baez is the first Magi. He is the most powerful. He's also not like can do things every now and then. We saw that in the last Argument of Kings. Like he was just fucking blowing eaters away before he even got to the whole full on I am greater than Aeus himself moment.
No,
so he is very, very
formidable. That was still when he had the seed.
He wasn't using the seed yet though. He did not open using the seed until he had everything in place.
Yeah, no, everything, all of the big feats that he did in the last Argument of Kings were in the seed.
Yeah, the seed.
No, he was blowing them away before he even started using the seed. Pharaoh had the seed in her hand, and then he started doing his thing, and then he conjured up the world.
Yeah, but even Pharaoh says that she can feel that Boaz is drawing off the seed at that moment.
Yeah. And then remember, Mamoon was like, he sees the seed, he sees the seals on the floor, the metal seals, and then he sees the seed, and he goes, and then he runs to try to stop him. But then Baez, because Pharaoh feels the power emanating.
Yeah, I guess my thing is like Baez is known to be the strongest of them all. It's just that's why he had to have the 100 words.
The appearance, though, right? It's just the appearance of it.
They all believe it, though. Why would they have 100 eaters?
I think Khalul is just a coward.
All right, we're getting.
Well, and maybe Khalul is like,
Hey guys, here's a
if he
good brainstorming
built-
video. You know?
yeah, but okay, but
Yeah.
maybe Khalul just wants to build up his army to be sure he's going to defeat Baez. But you never know. We're off the wrong person anyway. We're talking about Zacharias. Let's talk about Zacharias.
Filter this out, George.
Again, I fucking love Zacharias. I think Zacharias is such. You can tell that he is just so communed with nature. He's so communed with the world around him that he's just like, yeah, I want to do what's best. I don't really want to side with these fucking Elf Empire guys, but it's the only thing that they've really got going on.
Yeah, I wonder. So, what do you think his long-term plan is for the old empire, or the new empire, or whatever you want to call it?
It's the same thing that they've been trying to do for the last 1,000 years. You know, bring one emperor to the fore, and conquer the whole continent, and then just make a better world. You know, just like everybody else is trying to do, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been quite the
It's a mess.
party, quite the party. So, and you know what? But Zacharias is just the kind of stable-minded guy to bring some continuity.
Absolutely, the bird fucker. Let's bring him. Let's bring him in to sort everything out.
and Harrison, do we know Zacharias' specialty?
Yeah, he communes with all the animals. He presumably has some kind of combative ability as well, because they all do. But he definitely his main thing is like communing with birds and animals. But he, because he can talk to animals and convince them and talk to them and all this stuff, he does have eyes and ears everywhere. That's why he knows what's going on.
Yeah, he could run the most effective spy network.
I know.
That
Imagine
is
if
true.
all the Magi work together. It'd be fucking ridiculous.
Oh, that reminds me of? He's almost like Brendan Rivers in the Song of Ice and Fire, except
like Blood Crow, yeah.
yeah,
Blood Raven.
except crazy.
Yeah.
Blood Raven is definitely crazy as well. So
Blood Raven,
yeah.
Blood Raven's crazy in a different way. This guy's goofy, So.
Oh yeah, the goofy.
Feed the fucking pigeons.
But that's why the Empire's been expanding those, because they finally got a good emperor who's not a complete moron, somebody who's willing to listen to Zacharias, use his skills, and is able to maintain control.
Yeah, because you
Somewhat.
mentioned it, Harrison. You said it that I forgot when you said it, but that Sarmis is the guy that Zacharias was backing him before they're hanged, and so that means he must have consolidated his power, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So what we're saying here is that really, down to earth, right? Zacharias is on the same level as like Baez or Khalul, but he's also just down to earth enough to meet people in the pub for a meeting.
Yeah, down
I
to
just
earth.
I just don't think he's pretentious.
Yeah,
No.
he doesn't.
No.
He's a little bit.
Well, I don't think he's
he
pretentious. No, I don't think he's pretentious. I think he's
He's just
Insane.
cuckoo.
yeah.
Cuckoo is a good word because it's a
Cuckoo.
bird.
Yeah, cuckoo.
Yeah, exactly.
we should put that sound effect in, George, if you can, right now. Yeah, basically. Oh Lord. Yeah. So, do you have anything else to add about Zacharias? Either one of you?
Oh, I love Zacharias. I think he's a brilliant character, and I don't have anything bad to say about him unless he.
Oh yeah.
He's probably going to commit some war crimes in the next series.
We can forgive him though. I give him a
He
10 out of 10.
probably already has committed war crimes, But
Well, you know what? We can forgive him because at the end of the day, he's not an eater.
Related war crimes.
He does confirm the existence of pigeons inside the first law. There was another animal they talked about in here.
It was.
That's got to go on the list. Yeah, pigeons.
Yeah.
Pigeons, and there's another animal. The fact that Lamb's name is Lamb implies that there are also lambs.
Yeah, I don't think.
On the list.
Listen, I think Joe keeps the world building pretty straightforward. Deer, lamb, horses, cow. It's just we're not doing the whole like
and cuckoos. Jesus.
cuckoos. Well, we
I'm
said
serious.
cuckoos. We said cuckoos, but
Yeah.
But
There's
my point
another
is,
one though.
Oh no! Morv here also says, "You treacherous cuckoo."
Yes, exactly right.
what I like about Zacharias is that he's probably the best Magi. Unfortunately, he's not a fucking serial killing, mass murdering eater like Khalul, right? It's
He's not a
enslaving.
power-hungry, egotistical piece of shit like Baez.
Yeah. So out of like the three, the Magi that are like power players, I mean, he's kind of like clearing away the best guy, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And I like the
Totally
fact
the
that
best
he's
guy.
less than a footnote. He's got like 3 lines in the whole fucking book, in the whole series.
That's true.
Yeah. So that's our show, everyone. We want to thank you all for listening and supporting this podcast. As you know, this is a passion project for the three of us, and your support means oh so much.
Join us next week as we cover Blood Coming, The Sleeping Partner, and Fun.
And make sure you follow us on all of our social media or give us an email at circleoftheworldpodcast@gmail.com.
And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast from. And please make sure to rate and review us. Thank you all again for listening.
I ain't much.